Good morning, traders. This was meant to be a live trade video, but I'm starting it over again because there were no trades to take. So instead of you just watching me talk about what I'm looking for and not getting to take a trade for half an hour, I'm just going to show you what happened and why I didn't take a trade. And also we're going to go over my spreadsheet for the month and talk about what's going on and what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. So there'll still be plenty of good stuff in this video. So this is my normal routine. I get up before 4, usually around 3:40. I read my trading plan, and then I get Webull ready, and I set the screener to top gainers pre-market. I organize it by volume, and my criteria says that there must be a low float stock, meaning less than 80 million shares free float. You see this is 225 million in the top 3 volume. None of these meet that criteria. Then of course the stock has to be in my price range. So MARA meets the low float criteria, but my price range is generally I like to trade around $5 or less, but no more than $10, because I'm trading with 8% of my account, this is a small account, so that's a little over $40. So I would only be able to buy 1 share of this stock, so it makes no sense to try to trade it. Okay, so that's why there were no trades to take. And then right before I started this video, I noticed Ftft is number 5, which again does not meet my criteria, because I want number 3 volume wise. This is a low float, and obviously it's making a move, but I'm going to show you why I don't trade that when they're not in the top 3 volume. So here it is at 4 a.m. 292 shares. That is nothing. It's very hard to sell when you've got, what I like to see is around 10,000 shares or more on each 1 minute candle. Here you get, where is it? On this one you get about 10,000 shares, but about half of those were sellers, and that's why this pushed down. So the only entry here would be this marks out the aftermarket high. So my criteria for an entry is that the stock must break through the aftermarket high and then pull back, and then I can take the first 1 minute candle that breaks a new high, and that happened right here. So this one has the high of 863. So my ideal entry would be 864, which would be very hard. You see the spread on this thing? That's because there's no volume. And then that's another reason why you don't want to trade unless they're in the top 3 volume. So 864, and then the low is 856. We can use the 2-hour calculator. Now you wouldn't likely get this fill because of the spread, but let's say you did, your target would be $8.80, and your stop loss would be the low of the previous candle. So you enter in this candle, your stop loss is right here at 863. Actually, I'm sorry, 855, because I would go 1 cent below that. So your target is 882. And on the next candle goes to 873, so it's 9 cents shy, and then you get stopped out right here on this candle. So that would have been a failed trade. Doesn't mean it would always fail, but they're a lot less likely to go to 2R when there's no volume. So that's one reason that I don't trade these and the spread. I mean, you wanted 864. Here you might have gotten filled at the top of this candle, who knows, because the spread is 10-12 cents. So if you want 864, you might get filled at 874. All right, so now let's take a look at the spreadsheet. We'll double check here. It's still 425. Let's see. Yep, still nothing low float wise. My cutoff is absolutely 430, but if I don't see anything by 415, I'm pretty much not going to trade anything, or I'm not hopeful at least that there's going to be a low float in the top 3 volume, because it just doesn't happen. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet. So there's some things I'm doing right, and I wouldn't say a lot of things I'm doing wrong, but one thing that I'm doing wrong this month, which has been a reoccurring theme, is not holding properly to 2R. There are days, I mean, basically you can tell, it's very obvious when my P&L looks like this, and this is the 2R P&L. This is pretty much the closest I think that I've gotten this month. The closer the closer the gap to my daily P&L and the 2R P&L, which is the theoretical P&L. The closer the gap means the better that I did. So let's see. Yeah, and actually, I'm sorry, this day was the best day, and it was only one trade. I was only able to take one trade that day, and I got really close to the theoretical 2R. So that's the best I've done as far as 2R. And let's see. These are the monthly totals of my P&L. And this is my actual P&L right now, $6.39. If I would have held every stock to 2R, and then the ones that lost stopped out at minus 1R, this would be my P&L right now. So that's pretty definitive that 2R is the way to go. I've been saying this a lot, but I just have to buckle down and do it. I keep adding notes to the very beginning of my plan, like this. I just added that today or yesterday, and it's getting to the point now where it's getting ridiculous. I just have to buckle down and do it and stop making excuses. Sometimes I say things like, well, the first trade failed, so it's a sign of weakness, so I'm going to scale out on the second trade. That's not going to work in the long run. I just need to take every trade the exact same way, always hold to 2R or stop out at minus 1R, because month after month, the theoretical 2R P&L is way larger than my actual P&L. And since it's theoretical, of course, my actual P&L may never get that high, but I'm sure it would be a lot closer to this number than to this number. And that's the idea. So it's gotten to the point now where even some of my subscribers are calling me out, which is great, because that shows that you guys are learning. And the whole point of my YouTube channel is not just to teach, but to give myself accountability. So it's great when you guys are helping me with that. So I appreciate that. And I think that's it for this video. We'll give it one more check. I'm not expecting anything new here yet. So let's do one last thing. This will be very informative. Let's look at the actual pre-market top gainer, which is DPW. When you look at stuff like this, you say, oh wow, it's the number one top gainer. That should be the one that I take a trade on. But look at the volume. It's got next to nothing. 27,000 shares. And it's low float, so that volume means more, but still, let me add it to the watch list. I bet you the spread is not that bad. It's about 10%. Let's see, today's Thursday. Nope, I want the watch list screen. Okay, so although it's the top gainer, it's not doing very well. It peaked in the aftermarket. These lines are from, sure, weeks ago. But this was the peak, and I bet you the daily chart doesn't look so good because I have a stop loss line way up here. So yeah, I mean, it has, it always has the potential to close this gap, but it has to do it obviously on an upswing, and it's not trading up right now, that's for sure. Whenever you see these dashed candles, that's a sign of low volume, and you should just stay away. So here's an example of just because something is on the top gainers list, even if it's the number one, doesn't mean you take a trade. Let's see where 4 a.m. Yeah, 4 a.m. was right here. So sold off. And then, if you bought this reversal, it didn't make 2R here, that's for sure. And now it's just chopping around sideways. So, and again, it could have. There are exceptions to every rule, but it doesn't mean you take these weaker setups or weaker criteria just because they work once in a while. You want to take trades on things that work most of the time. So I think that's it for this video. Even though there was no trade in it, I tried to make it valuable, and I hope you learned something. Let me know if you have any questions about anything I said down in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video. I will be around for the market open, and as long as there is a low float stock in the top 3 volume at that time, I can take a trade if there's a good setup. So there may be a trade later. I'll see you then. Take care.